sad incident. From the 21st, a review of events that shaped 2021. Stay with TVC News.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and welcome to Marketing Edge on TV, Nigerians' leading initiative in the business of brand management and the management of brand business. It is a 30-minute potpourri of brand news, branding focus and industry conversation, all in a mix encompassing thorough and in-depth aimed at promoting the brand idea. I'm Ogali Abikeli Mafuru.
It's insightful, it's exciting, it's enriching. It's Marketing Edge on TV, a half-hour TV show on the business of brand management and the management of brand business. Marketing Edge on TV is a potpourri of juicy and exclusive industry news on brands, advertising, media, PR, brand and focus, industry conversation, and the entire gamut of integrated marketing communications business. It's a business show with glamour and grandeur. We serve you hot and sizzling with all ingredients in the mix. Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand ideal.
Good to have you back. First on Marketing Edge on TV is brand news, where we bring you the latest developments around brands and in the field of marketing, advertising and communication in Nigeria and around the globe. Now on brand news. Marketing Edge magazine, Africa's #1 leading brand-centric magazine known for journalism excellence with a credo of promoting the brand idea, has bagged the PR Magazine of the Year award at the just concluded Lagos PR Industry Gala and Award La Prix Gras 2021. Marketing Edge was adjudged to have emerged winner of the PR Magazine of the Year for maintaining professional standard in publishing and journalism, educating and building relationships, promoting marketing communications. Commenting on the award, Publisher Chief Executive Officer of Marketing Edge, Mr. John Ajayi, said the award was a great boost and an encouragement to work even much harder.
It's been a year of misbacks, with ups and downs. But we give God the glory that we were adjudged winner in the area of our operation. As we have always said, ours is a total commitment to the promotion of the brand idea and the management of brand business and the business of brand management. We've been very passionate about what we do, and to the extent that our profession has become our passion. And we are encouraged more to even work more for the promotion of the entire gamut of the integrated marketing communications industry in Nigeria through this award.
Marketing Edge magazine is the #1 publication with exclusive news, authoritative reports and insights in the Nigerian integrated marketing communications sector. The foremost publication is a credible and authoritative media platform that keeps regular tabs on happenings and developments on brands, marketing, and advertising in Nigeria and around the world. Having pioneered and set the pace with a highly successful print edition publication, it became imperative to exploit the online platform. Its print edition today remains a market leader and indisputable companion of all players and gladiators in the competitive Nigerian marketing and advertising landscape.
We want to also thank specially the organizers of that award. It came to us as a surprise. We never, enlisted. We were adjudged based on the criteria set up by La Prix Gras. And that's really, to us, means so much, and we share this so much, and we see this as a call to more service, more diligence, more professionalism in brand journalism.
The Advertising Industry Standard of Practice ISOM has received more support as professionals in the integrated marketing communications industry reiterate commitment to ensure full compliance to the new guidelines at Marketing Edge Quarterly Virtual Summit. The Quarterly Summit themed Nigeria Advertising Industry Reform to Be or Not to Be, which held on the 16th of December 2021, had in attendance an array of highly cerebral industry professionals who collectively agreed that ISOP is a step in the right direction as it will curb unethical practices that has stifled the growth of the advertising industry. Reaffirming its decision on ISOP as a regulator, the Registrar of the Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON, Dr. Lekon Fadolapo, stated that formulation of ISOP met all constitutional requirements and with due consultation with all stakeholders. The regulator, who called for the support of the various sectoral heads to ensure full compliance to the new law, noted that defaulters will be sanctioned accordingly to serve as deterrent. The quarterly summit had in attendance the president of the Association of Advertising Agencies of Nigeria, Mr. Steve Babayeko, president of the Media Independent Practitioners Association of Nigeria, Mr. FEMI ADELUSI, the CEO Cable Newspaper, Simon Kolawole, among other notable IMC experts. As preparation for Christmas and New Year celebration gathers momentum, experts in the integrated marketing communications sector have expressed their hot wishes and best regards to all their partners and primary target audience. Similarly, the IMC players have expressed hope and optimism for a very robust and profitable business outlook for year 2022. The professionals who expressed their views during an interactive chat with Marketing Edge on TV this week were all united in their views that the Nigerian business environment will offer more opportunities for growth in the coming year. They affirmed their resolve to offer more value for clients next year through bespoke solutions to clients' brands' needs.
I'm hoping that we don't have like a relapse of the COVID situation. Even though we hear countries like Austria and a couple of countries are going back to lockdown now. So I'm hoping, all touch wood, Nigeria will continue to just have minimal casualty rate like we've been having since last year. So if that happens, I see a much more bullish market for the advertising industry.
So as with everything, honestly, my prediction is I'm looking forward to the best in terms of my business, in terms of the people I'm hiring, in terms of ideation, in terms of better volumes for as per our budgets and all of that. I'm looking forward to something better.
Well, 2022, what we see is a consolidating of the works that have been done. So platforms that have been established in redefining great work, collaboration in the industry. That's really what we're looking forward to. We're only all as strong together as the industry when we're cohesive.
I think with the economy opening up more and more and hoping that we still manage the challenges of COVID and we don't regress further, I would think that next year should be far, far better than this year. And the year after, because I can tell you the past 2 years have been terrible, not just for the marketing community, but for everybody.
When we say it's challenging, I think it has to do with approach to business. For most people who have changed their business model, they've turned things around somewhat, okay? And obviously, as it were, we expect that next year is going to be great.
Next year, I expect to be a lot of changes, but also positive movement, especially with all the regulations and all the new things happening in the industry. So I expect to have a lot more collaboration, and then lifting of standards the coming year.
Well, that was brand news. Next is brand and focus after this break.
Easy mission. Don't come, it's our business for life. Nigeria, for Africa, and the world.
From all of us at Glow, we wish you joy unlimited.
It's the Glow Joy Unlimited Extravaganza! Yeah, what?
This one no cool now.
Simply recharge up to 500 Naira during the week to qualify. 5 cars every month. 100 generators, TVs, and fridges every week. Dial *611# now to enter the Glow Joy Unlimited Extravaganza.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand ideal.
Now on Brand in Focus. When Apple released its app tracking transparency controls in May this year, only 17% users permitted apps to track their data fully. In addition, a Forrester study from 2020 showed that only 15% of consumers think it is okay for companies to track them across devices for advertising. Despite the fact that browsers are blocking third-party cookies and fingerprinting, even as consumers now have the option to opt out of data tracking within apps, there's still a long way to go before the advertising ecosystem takes data ethics and privacy seriously. In order to stop poor data ethics, every stakeholder must take a stance as soon as possible. From consumer to ad tech vendors, everyone needs to look into who they share data with and educate themselves on privacy best practices. In short, practices across ad tech needs to be reset. A recent research has shown that irrespective of their torrent of complaints about creepy ads following them around the web, only a few consumers have changed their online behavior. They have not stopped using certain sites probably because they don't necessarily understand how frequently data is usually misused in the advertising ecosystem. This explains why Facebook is still the most used social platform in the world with 2.79 billion users globally, despite frequent complaints about its data standards. Facebook and Google are dependent on consumer data to grow their revenue, and consumers have become habitually dependent on them to communicate and browse the web. Therefore, consumers require better education to make empowered decisions about which businesses they choose to engage with. In 2020, the World Federation of Advertisers launched its first guide on data ethics for brands, but there's still lots of question as to how the advertising ecosystem can deliver performance and addressability while prioritizing data ethics and privacy. So, every player in the advertising ecosystem, including consumers, has an opportunity to start making changes for the better. While it is important for consumers to consider what happens to their data when they share it with brands and publishers, brands must provide transparency around marketing and allow opt-outs, and advertisers must ingrain permission into their activities and only use data where necessary. Publishers, on their part, should protect consumers' data and share clear data practices if they must retain their value in the ecosystem. Above all, technology providers should focus on privacy-preserving solutions rather than workarounds. They should bake privacy and data integrity into their products, which will in turn give their customers the ability to retain control of their own data. With this, both organizations and consumers would be playing a significant role in creating a more transparent and secured ecosystem.
Well, that was Brand in Focus. Next is Industry Conversation, where we have interactions with distinguished personalities who have made tremendous impact in the business of brand management through effective communication, marketing, and advertising.
Well, this week we will be continuing on our conversation we started last week with the president of Media Independent Practitioners Association of Nigeria, Mr. FEMI ADELUSI, after this break.
Now everybody knows I'm the man.
Enjoy the reward that sharing brings with the Airtel Family Plan. Get bonus talk time, SMS, and data for each family member you share with. Dial *141# now. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand ideal.
But what would be your assessment of technology and digitalization on your business this year?
In my assessment is that it is a big tool that can only aid us depending on how we embrace it. Right, so technology and digitization, if we bring it into an operational perspective, can only make us work faster, smarter, and easier, right? When you bring it in terms of strategy and how the impact on decision making also, it is also strong and positive because then we got the useful insight, which we can use to balance with the creativity. So insight on data, access to big data, on consumer lifestyle, consumer profile, understanding the consumer now than maybe pre-COVID. What are the current motivations? What are the current pains that he has, and how do I speak to it? How is his media consumption habits changing between then and now, right? We can see, for example, how online streaming or video streaming and how that is changing rapidly, movie consumption, how that is changing, that lifestyle is changing. So digitization and technology is a huge positive impact, right, to the media business because of the opportunities that it gives us.
So how would you describe the relationship between agencies and clients in 2021?
I feel that we've had more than any year before. I feel this year has been a year that we can say has witnessed a lot of conversation around the commercial terms of our engagement and the value that the agencies are offering to the clients. Clients want agencies that understand their business and understand the peculiarities of their businesses and the challenges that they face.
Okay, let's talk a bit about your projection into the year 2022. What are the opportunities you're seeing that MIPAN can, harness going forward?
I think for MIPAN, we have, it's a great question. 2022 is also a peculiar year. It's a pre-election year. We look at data in the last 2 elections before now. Every pre-election year, advertising investment actually decline or spend reduces. Also because in the election year, sometimes there's so much of advertising by political parties. And so brands tend to run away from being lost in the clutter. Also compliance on particularly terrestrial can be a challenge because then politics becomes primary news item. But I do believe that next year might be different because of the fact that I think brands increasingly have realized that there's been a gap in supporting and investing behind their brand. The long-term growth, and every student in marketing or marketing professional understands that there needs to be an ongoing and consistent support for brands, and that's the way you grow your brand into the future. Now, the COVID era was peculiar in the sense that a lot of brands had to take a step back on supporting their brand and reprioritize what was important for the business beyond advertising and marketing, right? But I do believe that phase, we need to move away from that phase into going to long-term brand building again, right? So I do believe that this consideration, right, will shape the decision for 2022. When we look at also the quarterly investment, although last quarter generally always experience a hike or a spike in advertising when you compare in the course of the year, the numbers this year from feedback and data is significantly better than last year. And I do believe that this will be carried over. I do believe personally that this will be carried over into the next financial year. It will even be much better if the economy can then begin to show even stronger positive progression. So that's the area that we're being optimistic in, that things can get better from an economic standpoint. If we can get more money in the pocket of the consumer, then the brands will do well, then the brands will grow.
Okay. I would like you to explain further, more like on what you just said. If we consider recession and, of course, inflation, do you think that your previous thought holds strongly?
Well, we got out of recession in quarter two.
But yes, so, but there's still, cases of,
I mean, the numbers are very still conservative in terms of how quickly, the economy is projected to grow, I think, about 2.3, 2.5% or thereabout from a GDP standpoint for 2022. Now, there's so many factors, but I think to a large extent, our forex situation is a big challenge because we're still a largely import-dependent economy, right? There's still a lot of import and need for forex, and when you have this level of instability in terms of exchange rates. But the good news in the last few weeks is that Naira is doing better, or the dollar rate has come down. We're hoping that will continue, but it's difficult to predict, even now with this new COVID situation and possibility of lockdown. We already can see some signs in the UK in going into South Africa. Some airlines are predicted that will be shut down even from this week, right? So those are factors that can have significant impact on inflation numbers. The inflation numbers are still very high. But we can only hope that those factors, which I think the biggest factor is perhaps the COVID. With these new variants now, it's difficult to predict how that, but I think the government has a role to play. We as citizens have a role to play in ensuring that all the healthy protocols we continue to put in place, and all the tests, for travelers coming in and out of Nigeria, we continue to do it diligently and ensure that people are well tested so that we control that. Because it will be difficult to effect another lockdown in Nigeria, right? You could lock down the borders, but in terms of people interaction, it will be tough. Because survival with 80 million, it's repeated. All the data says Nigeria is poverty capital in the world, right? When you think about people who live under $1 a day in Nigeria, and the population, the number at about 80 million, it's scary, right? So I believe that I don't think anything can go lower or worse than it is already, and that it can only. I would love to have an optimistic view that it can only get better. But the reality is that we're still a poor economy. There's still a lot of factors that we need to address from an economic standpoint. Our inflationary numbers is an important part that needs to, right? One of my I have a friend who runs a bakery, and every day they said this bakery is just about 7 months old. And since inception, every day the cost of flour has been increasing. For the first time in his 7 months of running that bakery, the price of flour went down last week. So yes, so even the exchange rate, we got to, very ridiculous or imaginable numbers. But it's also come down a little bit. Now, how sustainable these factors are is a bit unpredictable. But these are the factors that will help to, that will provide or shape 2022 and how things pan out. I think there's a fiscal policy part, so a lot will be looking at what the government's plan or the budget for 2022 and funding the budget and all of that, the decision, because the federal investment or spend still has a big factor in terms of our economy. Government is still the biggest spender in the Nigerian economy as well. So this factor, the oil market, whether we like it or not, even despite all the effort to be less dependent on crude as our biggest source of foreign exchange. How well and how quickly we're developing the alternative and how easy it is still a huge challenge from where we need to be, right? So it has to be an ongoing effort, and hopefully we can see a better 2022 from an economic GDP growth standpoint.
Hi, my name is Steve Abaiko. I want to wish all our audience a very fantastic Christmas. We almost did not have Christmas last year, so we have the opportunity to celebrate properly this year. I wish you all a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful and prosperous 2022.
I want to wish everybody, it's been a very difficult year and a difficult past 2 years, but I wish everybody that this Christmas will be very, very merrier than we have had in the past 2 years. Let them have a great celebration.
Merry Christmas to everybody from Marketing Edge.
Shout out to everyone that is watching. Marketing Edge, great job.
Merry Christmas to everyone, and we look forward to a favorable New Year. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas to the entire Marketing Edge team. We celebrate you for the work that you're doing, and we're glad that you're a good supporter of this industry.
On behalf of Marketing Edge on TV, I'd like to say, have a wonderful holiday this season. Things have been dark, it's getting better, and we are going to be doing much better. So have a wonderfully blessed holiday.
Yeah, Marketing Edge on TV, great job. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Well, that's it on Marketing Edge on TV. Do well to join us again for another interesting time next week. I'm Ogali Abikele Mafuru. See you again.
In the month of December, countdown to the end of the year 2021 and the beginning of 2022 gathers momentum. The first is World AIDS Day, and on the second, the world remembers the abolition of slave trade. On the third, the plight of persons with disabilities takes center stage. The International Anti-Corruption Day is marked on the 9th. 1 year after the attack and abduction of 340 students from a school in Kankara, Katsina State is on the 11th. It highlights the recent attacks on schools and declining value on education. The 20th will mark 22 years after the OT massacre. How far have the people moved on from that sad incident? From the 21st, a review of events that shaped 2021. Stay with TVC News.